One important idea might be to impose new duty on companies for holistic risk assessments. I see companies that say, oh, we have a beautiful risk assessment, but they only assess risk for themselves. The question now is, how do you assess risk for the others? A competitive advantage is to really capitalize on responsible capital.
If a business puts a purpose before profit, can it be successful?
You can do really well by doing good. Actually, it's shown that long-term, profit might increase more and faster thanks to, a coherent message and authenticity to the purpose. Because with a purpose, you might attract talents, you might have more engaged employees because they understand why they are doing what they're doing.
Politician or CEO? Whom should we trust more?
I would spontaneously love to trust both, while being very prudent on the drivers of mistrust. It's really a balance between how do you grant trust, but how can you actually take it away? How can you shame companies or politicians for doing wrong? And how do we ensure the checks and balances through law enforcement and through customer choice and quality? It's in schools that we have to start. Could we think of a common, line of subjects that could empower people very early on in their life to know on which basis they will trust and on what basis they will mistrust or distrust both politicians and governments, and how we can hold them accountable? There's a big debate around innovation. Innovation might be seen in other regions a bit as cowboy innovation. We know that most unicorns are, American or Chinese. It's no surprise or no scoop that Europe is lagging behind. But where it has a card to play is on values, on rule of law, and on ethics. How will you actually respect that fundamental right that is binding and that is very dear to Europe's core into your algorithm?
What is a law in today's business reality? Constraint or opportunity?
Very often nowadays, law is seen as an external constraint. And poor company, they have to comply with yet another law. For citizens, to self-determination and to exercise self-determination is through law. And at the same time, it's seen as this horrible external constraint. So how do we reconcile both? Instead of having the product and then think of what does the law say, we are actually integrating, embedding the relevant legal intelligence and question into the very core strategy. Compliance by design. So by designing the very design of your strategy and product making, you integrate, the benefits of the rules. It's not like you're transforming a constraint into an opportunity, that you realize that what you thought was a constraint might be your best opportunity.